Welcome to Make It Rain with Adam Schein on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Thursday edition, Make It Rain with Adam Schein here on VSiN, and my goodness, we've got an unbelievable show for you today. It is not just Thursday on Make It Rain with Adam Schein, it's Masters Thursday on Make It Rain with Adam Schein. We've got updates, we've got leaderboards, we've got picks, we've got predictions, we've got some certain sleepers where we've been correct so far. Patrick Meagher is going to join us. He's my enemy today. Knicks Pistons. He is my enemy. If we get that for first round of the NBA playoffs, oh baby. Gary Williams is going to join us live from Augusta. Looking forward to that. We've got news, notes, nuggets, nightly plays. We are officially 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, and our takes have takes. Our bets have bets. So we're going to have a lot of fun with the NFL draft as we move along. We have some hockey we're going to get into as we move along in the show. A lot cooking here on a Thursday edition of Make It Rain with Adam Schein. And let's tell you what's going on at Augusta. And we just had, literally moments ago, Justin Rose take the lead. Justin Rose is 5 under par. And right now he is in front when you take a look at a current leaderboard for the Masters. But how about our guy? I hope you paid attention to it. Corey Connors. I'm getting all your tweets. You're welcome, America and Canada. And we're a long way from the bets paying off, but we're off to a nice start. First round in the books for Mr. Corey Connors, and we had him to finish in the top 10 at plus 380, and he is currently in second place. Right now, -4 at Augusta in the first round. He's currently tied with Scottie Scheffler. Scheffler's not done yet. He just completed the 16th hole. He is also -4, but I'll tell you, from a betting standpoint, especially if you followed our picks and predictions, listen, this is good. This is where you want to start in terms of Corey Connors getting it done and being able to take care of business. So that's where we are at right now in terms of some noteworthy updates. And listen, Colin Morikawa, who we picked to win it, right now is 1 under through 17. 1 under through 17. So obviously we're early. Patty Reed is done for the day, and he is 1 under as well. And Patrick Reed always brings good stuff to the table. Bryson DeChambeau is through 6 right now, and he's 2 under. And, that was the one. I liked him. I didn't have the guts to do it. DeChambeau, some people love him. Some people loathe him. I think he's phenomenal for the sport. Absolutely sensational. He bombs the ball. He does a lot of stuff on social media. He plays golf and has fun with politicians and actors. And he's great for the game. Love him or loathe him. And I'm a fan of DeChambeau. I think he's great. So that's where we're at right now. We will continue to keep you up to date on everything going on at Augusta. But Justin Rose right now is 5 under through 9. 5 under through 9. The leader in the clubhouse right now as we speak. Again, fluid situation. Scottie Scheffler right now is 4 under. And it's going to be a fascinating finish here for day one at the Masters. And again, Gary Williams will join us here, and he will tell us exactly what he's thinking coming up, and we'll get some updates throughout the course of the show because we love it. We love live updates. We love live bets. We love when Corey Connors is making us look smart on day one in our boldest prediction here and bet on Make It Rain with Adam Schein. Let's go, Corey. Let's go. Do his friends call him Coco? Corey Connors? We're going to officially call him Coco. Hot cocoa for everyone. I'm buying if that bet cashes, I'm buying the entire Vegas control room Coco. That's right. Maybe not Coco, maybe something stronger. We'll make sure that Larry and Sean with his Emmy and Dez and Matt and everybody in the control room, if that bet hits, oh baby, I'm going to be very fired up. We've got some afternoon baseball going on. How about it? The Angels are slaughtering the Tampa Rays. I mean, my goodness. I stop. He's already dead. I'd like to report a murder. 10-1. By the way, the Rays crashed back down to earth. That was predictable. Joe Adele, hello. 2 homers in 1 inning. How about it? That's pretty sweet. And listen, I always want Joe Adele live up to his potential, his upside. Always had gobs of talent, all about putting it together. Mike Trout's 4th homer of the season. Listen, I have the take that Mike Trout started his career the greatest in baseball history, obviously derailed by injuries and obviously derailed by the Angels' stupidity and couldn't win with Trout and Ohtani, and they didn't know what they were doing and put a team together. But we will always be Mike Trout fans and a Mike Trout show. I just wish he was with another team. White Sox and Guardians going on as we speak. Stephen Kwan, 3 for 3. And has a home run. So if you had Kwan with a dinger today, that ticket has officially cashed. 5-1, Cleveland over Chicago in the 6th inning. So that is certainly a noteworthy game when you take a look at the American League Central. Twins and the Royals going on as we speak as well. So that one is knotted up at 1. And I really hope the Royals win this game. I picked the Royals to make the playoffs preseason. I like watching the Royals. I love the middle of that batting order. I'm not a fan of the Minnesota Twins in any way, shape, or form. So we'll keep you up to date on everything going on with the Royals and the Twins, the Guards, and of course the White Sox and the Angels and the Rays, and most especially everything going on in Augusta as we speak. The Brewers and Rockies going to get started coming up in 10 minutes. Looking forward to that. You know what they always say, when the Brewers and Rockies get together, you throw everything out the window, starting with your Saturday if you're forced to watch this game. Game is starting, coming up in a little bit. Kind of dig the Brewers on the money line at -130, just in case if you feel like your bets are not paying off right now in terms of the Masters and you want to kind of hate watch. Well, good news for you. You have some day ball coming up at 3:10 Eastern time. How about Luka Doncic last night? Luka, that was unbelievable. And listen, Luka Doncic was absolutely insane. And the whole night was surreal, and the whole night was emotional. And I thought about this, and we've already called it the single most asinine, moronic, foolish, clueless, stunning, irresponsible trade in the history of sports. And I'm talking about a sports trade, not selling Wayne Gretzky because of money or selling Babe Ruth, right? I've never seen a return to a former team quite like this. You know, maybe the equivalent, maybe, was when Roger Clemens left the Red Sox and he never wanted to go. And, you know, he went back to Fenway and stuck it to Dan Duquette and glared at him walking off the mound. Maybe there's a parallel, but last night, this was an event. I mean, first of all, the tribute video, I give the Mavericks organization credit for playing that. You know, obviously, you do have to run that up the flagpole, but the operations people, the social media people, the video production people, that wasn't just some quick, let's not get roasted on social media tribute video. That was an appropriate 3-minute show. And Luka grabbed the towel. He was crying. The lower lip was quivering. The tears were welling in his eyes. I mean, I felt for Luka, and he knew he was going to be emotional. Look, he never wanted to get traded. Loved Dallas, loved being in Dallas, loved the Mavericks, loved the city, loved everything about it. They showed the clips when he was drafted, won Rookie of the Year, took the team to the finals, and everything in between. And the ovation was thunderous, the embrace with his current teammates. And, we said this yesterday, right? And we hit our bet. We'll get to that in a second, what we bet on and hit from the NBA and our best bet from yesterday's show. I would have never touched any of the Luka props just because of what we saw, the emotion. I wanted him to have a game that he had last night. We did see him play against Dallas after the trade, and he was overamped, so those didn't hit. So if you didn't bet on Luka, don't have remorse. I can at least wrap my brain around it and be with you. Don't think in hindsight that you missed a golden opportunity. But my goodness, that was an absolute show. How about Doncic last night? 31 points in the first half. He had 45 points in total, just absolutely incredible. 7 3-pointers. He couldn't miss. And I love when J.J. Redick took him out with about 1:34 to go, brought in Bronny of all people, and let him get the ovation. Fans in Dallas who have to literally watch this, and they got to be sick. I don't know how a Mavericks fan gets through the day. They're chanting fire Nico for Nico Harrison, the irresponsible general manager who made the trade. And by the way, not only was that emotional, special, surreal, sweet, that was a monster win for the LA Lakers. The LA Lakers, by virtue of winning that game, they just need to win one of their final 2. They have the Rockets, who are locked into the 2, and Houston opted not to play anyone. Ime Udoka has that right. I mean, his team has been phenomenal this year. They have the Rockets and they have the Blazers. All they have to do is win one. And it's crazy. With all the chaos at times in the beginning of the season and then surviving the LeBron injury, the Lakers were the team that survived the Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, Grizz, Warriors, Timberwolves congestion. And that was not for everyone conventional wisdom. You had a lot of smart people saying, oh, it's going to be Golden State and, believe it in the Grizz. Yeah, listen, I think the Warriors' experience is unbelievable. They had a devastating loss last night. But let's give J.J. Redick, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Rob Pelinka, Austin Reeves, my God, that's Austin's music, Rory Hachimura, Vanderbilt, let's give them a ton of credits. Not only was that emotional and surreal, but if you have a ticket for the LA Lakers moving forward, they get the 3 seed, avoid OKC in round 2. This is amazing.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
The VSiN Summer Special is here. Best deal of the season. For just $59, get full VSiN Pro access to everything we do through August the 1st. That's 50% off the regular monthly price. From Augusta to the NFL Draft, MLB action, NBA and NHL playoffs, Kentucky Derby, VSiN Pro has you covered all summer long. Sign up now and get the expert picks, including all our best bets for the Masters, exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access on the VSiN Watch app, plus our Kentucky Derby betting guide and the NFL betting guide when it drops this summer. Giving you a head start on football season. Every sports, every edge, one price. Get full access now through August the 1st at $59. VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSiN.com/subscribe. Welcome back, Make It Rain with Adam Schein. Joining us right now live, the Progressive Guest Line. You know him, you love him, you can't live without him. He's our guy, Patty, of course, the host of VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Patty and the big guy. We look forward to it every single night. Patty, how are ya?
Every edge, every rose has its thorn. Brett Michaels, what up? Justin Rose right now. Good to see you, Adam. 6 under through 10. Your boy Coco, Corey Connors, who I know you like. You and I are on Morikawa, who can do everything. I am concerned about the killer instinct come Sunday. We shall see. The weather is going to be immaculate. You would agree. Rory is the story here. He's 1 under through 10, I believe. He hasn't won a major since 14. That's over 3,800 days. If I gave you a bet back in 14 that at the age 24, Rory would have 4 majors but wouldn't win another one, and he's 35 years old, you would have said I'm crazy. But he's set up perfectly, playing as well as he has, coming into a Masters, his 11th try. Does he get it done, Adam Schein?
7 under. He's 1 under through 7 right now, as you mentioned. I have him in my top 5. I think it'll be close, but no cigar. Love the way you framed it and you phrased it, where if you took that bet in 2014, I mean, who the hell knew? I almost felt the same way about Spieth after 2015. I thought he was about to skyrocket in terms of history and whatnot. Give us some of your best bets, just so the audience is aware, your best bets to win the tournament outright, your bets.
Well, I did take Morikawa outright as you did. Just playing too well, can do everything. I don't generally bet Rory, but we got him at 7.5 to 1 early. It just feels like it's his time. It's crazy. He went from in 2014 kind of a chubby, precocious kid. Now he's a man and he can't get it done. And I feel like his personal life is in order. He won the Players last month. Like, he is doing everything correctly coming into it. Can he pitch? Can he putt enough? We will see. I do like your boy Coco. Connors is playing well to start. I took a flyer on Spieth. I'm a Spieth truther, Adam. I took a flyer on him to finish top 5. I freaking love Justin Spieth. He had a kind of a similar arc to Rory, where he had that window of dominance and then kind of fell apart in the big moment. So I took a top 5 flyer on Spieth as well.
All right. I want to make sure I'm crystal clear about this. I hate you. I can't stand you. We are officially enemies. We have my Knicks, your Pistons tonight, and it's a good test, right? It's a good test for the teams. It's a good test for our hates and our relationship, because you're one of my favorite human beings on planet Earth, but I'm not allowed to like you anymore, because I think we're going to get Knicks Pistons coming up in the first round. Still have to wait and see exactly how it plays out. With the 3, Knicks will get it, and whether or not Detroit is the 5 or the 6, but it's looking like we're going to get this in the first round. And Patty, I'm telling you, I would pick my Knicks, but I think it would be a series where Detroit would have a real shot, your Pistons, to ultimately win with their talent, togetherness, with Cunningham, with their toughness, with the way that your bigs play and how they would match up with the Knicks. I would give the Detroit Pistons a real chance to win that series.
All right, let's start with tonight, then let's talk friendship. The Knicks are at Detroit tonight. Detroit's laying 3.5, 229 on the total. No Anunoby, no Hart. I'm going to stay away from the side. I do like the under. The Knicks finally defending, as you know, 6-1 to the under their last 7. The Pistons can't score. That's the issue right now. Now let's discuss friendship. You're a Knicks fan. I'm a Pistons fan. We also have a mutual. His name is Evan. The last name starts with an R. You know him in broadcast there in New York City. He texted me the other day and he said, bro, I've got tickets to Knicks Pistons when they meet in the postseason. You have to fly out to New York City for it. And I said, I'm not going to give you the pleasure. I can't do this. The Knicks are playing too well. This is a nice season for the Pistons, and I love the toughness. I love the grit. I love the bad boy vibes. But if this Knicks team can't beat this Pistons team, Thibodeau's got to go. They're a better basketball team. I'll be pulling for my Pistons. I could be there at MSG, so stop by. I'll buy you a drink. But I am nervous. The Knicks will be big-time favorite in that series.
I'd be curious eventually with the matchup to see what the number would be. Knicks should be the favorite. And, you know, you say big time. If I said Knicks take that series in 6, what would your response be?
I'd say that feels right, 5-6. I think the Knicks would be a $2, $2.25 favorite. I think they're going to be considerable. Listen, the Pistons have been a great story, and this really harkens back to Monty Williams last year. Like, the turnaround for the Pistons has been amazing, but I just want to be very clear. Yeah. They weren't as bad last year, Adam, as they played. Monty Williams tanked this program, and this year they're playing much better. Cade is a superstar. You mentioned the bigs and the toughness. That was so much fun with the Knicks in the postseason last year. I wonder going into it this year, hosting the Pistons in round 1 at MSG, if they can kind of find some of that magic that they had last year. It'll be a fascinating series. I think the Knicks will be a $2 or more favorite, though, in the series.
Are you surprised to see Boston minus money to win the Eastern Conference over Cleveland? I honestly, Patrick, I look at the Cavs and look, Boston is amazing. Boston has talent. Boston has experience. Cleveland has beat them this year. They beat them in Boston this year. Assuming Donovan Mitchell is healthy, I genuinely do like the Cleveland Cavaliers to win the Eastern Conference.
I'm right there with you. I like the Cavs. The Cavs can do everything. What's interesting about the Luka conversation last night is people said, well, if Luka was so great, why did he get blown out by the Boston Celtics in the finals last year? First off, Luka had Kyrie was terrible in the finals. Luka was great in the finals. Yes, they ran out of gas. That was an all-time great Boston team by the numbers last 25 years. Let's be clear. The reason I think Boston is starting to gain momentum, 8-2 over their last 10, and they just set Adam, a franchise record for the most wins in a season. Their numbers on the road, the Celtics this year, are insane. They're not going to be intimidated in Cleveland when they face off in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's why I'm not surprised, but I'm going to be right there with you betting the Cavs against this godforsaken organization and your boy Robert Parrish. Get him the hell out of here.
All right,
you remember Adam Schein. I was there when Bill Laimbeer was getting accosted by that wimp McHale and Parrish, and they were throwing freaking haymakers, and they didn't even get a technical foul. Those were the days, Adam Schein.
Those are the days. Listen, we're the same age, and I knew you had more in the tank there. You weren't done. I could tell. The Patty motor was going on that rant there. I knew you had more left in the tank. So let me give you this. Season ends on Sunday, and I'm curious right now if you had to bet on a finals matchup, exact finals, who would you bet on and why?
Let me be very clear. I didn't want to like Oklahoma City. I'm obsessed with this team. I've now watched 4 full games. Thank you very much. I get paid to do this. I've watched 4 Oklahoma City games, and I've seen enough, Adam Schein. The help defense, the depth. SGA obviously is going to win the MVP, and even with a historic year by Jokic, the wins are the determining factor. He deserves it. So Oklahoma City out of the West, that's a no-brainer. And then we're going to get Cleveland out of the East. Last year was the Celtics year. I don't care about the road stats that I gave you. It's going to be Cavs, OKC winning it all. That's your answer.
We're on the same page. And by the way, how about the job by the Lakers? Kind of lost in the shuffle with everything with Luka. They're in position one more win to be the 3 seed. We've talked about Lakers versus Warriors. Listen, that's a great job by LA. And if they beat Houston in the second round, they're going to avoid OKC into the Western Conference Finals.
And how great was Luka last night? That retrospective video that the Mavs tried to throw at us like they didn't disparage the dude on the way out of town. Get the hell out of here. Rip the franchise from that ownership group. Who's better than you?
I mean, that was the same video that Dustin got when he went back to Mad Dog Sports Radio. Patty, great stuff.
Watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Horse racing fans, get ready. VSiN at the track. The road to the Kentucky Derby live tomorrow, every Friday, leading up to the Triple Crown. With key Derby prop races this weekend, we're breaking down the top contenders for this year's run to the Roses. Join the experts, Mike Somich, Aaron Halterman, tomorrow, 2:10 p.m. Eastern, on the VSiN YouTube channel at VSiN Live for expert analysis and insights. Don't miss it. VSiN at the track tomorrow, streaming live, 2:10 p.m. Eastern time, as we count down to the Triple Crown. Welcome back, Make It Rain with Adam Schein. Joining us live on the Progressive Guest Line. You know him, you love him, you can't live without him. My guy, the great Gary Williams, the host and executive producer of 5 Clubs on Golf Channel and SiriusXM. And Gary joins us live from Augusta. How are you, Gary?
Adam, my friend, are you kidding me? The first full week in April to be in Augusta, Georgia, to wake up this morning and watch Tom Watson, Jack Nicklaus, and Gary Player walk to the first tee, hit ceremonial first tee shots. It's really one of the unique, special, endearing moments in sports. It's amazing.
You just summed that up perfectly. And the sights and the sounds, and for you to be there for that, I mean, it doesn't get any better. And, we went through the leaderboard earlier in the show and what stood out to us. And, we have a bet on Corey Connors in terms of having him in the top 10. And I thought about top 5. We mentioned Justin Rose. Before we ask you some specifics, just in terms of your observations or what caught your attention, what stood out to you so far today?
What stood out, Adam, is that up until Justin Rose blitzed the first 9, the scoring has not been as good as I thought it was going to be. The golf course got 1.25 inches of rain on Monday, and even though the golf course drains expertly, I thought that the scoring would be better. It's good, but this is a golf course that really, and I asked this question to the chairman, Fred Ridley, yesterday about scoring. This golf course does not give up low rounds like it used to. We associate the Masters with Sunday charges, and the reality is that there really hasn't been that many. Again, I conditioned myself to believe that today was going to be the day. Winds were light, and for the most part, it has held up its defenses, and we'll see what Justin Rose does on the second 9. But that's my overriding kind of thought observation as we sit here midway through the afternoon portion of round 1, is that resistant to scoring, which has become kind of the mantra at Augusta National, has been the story today.
What have you seen so far from Rory? Do you think this could be the year he breaks through? I couldn't pick him to get the green jacket just because I feel like I need to see it, Gary. I can wrap my brain around it. I can't do it. I do have him top 5 plus 130. What's your reaction so far, and what's your overall big picture feel?
Let me start with the way you've played him this week. That's the way I would have played him. I did not pick him to win the golf tournament. The inevitability part of him and Augusta National, there have been other great historic players built for the place that never crossed the line. He's never been in better form, but he can't bring his results to the first tee on Thursday. And the reality is, Adam, as you know, he's dealing with immense external pressure and the expectation of having already won twice this year. He's trying to cross a career Grand Slam Rubicon that's never really been done at Augusta National. Gene Sarazen won in 1935 to complete the career Grand Slam. It didn't exist then. It was given to him retroactively. It doesn't diminish what he did. So here is Rory trying to do that, and couple that with he hadn't won a major in 10 years. I like his chances, Adam, later on in the major championship season at Oakmont. I expect him to have a very good week. And as far as today, look, he hits a great iron shot on the opening hole. He's 8 feet just left of the hole, and his putt runs out of speed. He misses on the low side. And then he doesn't birdie the second hole, which is a par 5. I think it's been kind of an ordinary kind of scratchy start. He has always been a slow starter here, and you can't be. And I'll give you one little stat. Last thought on this. In this century, there's only been 2 players that have come from outside the top 10 after day 1 to win the golf tournament.
Wow.
It was Tiger twice, 2005 and 2019. You can't start slow here. You won't win.
Listen, I know that's the trend and that's the reality. That's a stat that hits you between the eyes, Garrett. That's good stuff or not good stuff, depending on your perspective. Now, I picked and I bet Collin Morikawa to win. It was 18-1. I felt good about where he was at in terms of the course and how he was playing. I thought today was fine. I think it could have been better. I don't think it was a negative per se, but I'm curious to get your take on the play that I had and what you saw from Collin today.
I love the play. I think it was the best value on the board. And the thing about Collin Morikawa, statistically speaking, in terms of the things that are requisite skills to win here, Adam, it is iron play. So there's a stat called strokes gained approach, which I know you're familiar with. He's number 1 in that area. And so at the value you got him at, absolutely, you should have played him. But again, I'll go back to what I just said. You cannot get behind, more than 12 to 15 players after round one. And he was exactly where he needed to play with 5 holes to go. And he didn't take advantage of the second par 5. He makes bogey on the last hole. He shoots a very flat, deflating opening level par round of 72. And I know he has to be seething coming off the golf course.
My favorite play, and I'm allowed to say it at least for today, was Corey Connors. I had him at plus 140 to finish in the top 10. Almost rolled the dice on getting him in the top 5. Really excellent round today, all things considered. I'm curious what you saw from Corey Connors. And did you have a sleeper that you liked entering the Masters this week?
Well, I think that again, I don't want to come off as being bullish on every player, but this is about value. And this also amplifies what I just said about Collin Morikawa. Corey Connors is among the best iron players in the world. His problem is that he is a very average to below average putter. And so, but that's okay. You can win at Augusta National by not having a great putting week if you give yourself more chances than anybody else. You can look back. Adam Scott won the Masters in 2013. He had 30 putts in the final round. That is below average, but he had more chances than anybody. Corey Connors, again, he has a good record there. He always plays well in the lead up because he's won the Valero Texas Open, and he always plays well there. So, and to your other question about, who did I like as a dark horse? I tell you who I liked, and first timers. We've had 3 guys historically win in their first start, and it wasn't about him winning. It was about thinking about Maverick McNeely in a top 10. This is somebody who's in a different space. He's 29 years old. He got his first win at the end of last year. He's coming off a tie for third at the Valero Texas Open. Played very well at the Genesis. Maverick McNeely was my sleeper pick. I'm
curious on Spieth. I thought after about 2015 he was going to go on the head to the hands. I mean, Gary, I'm at a loss, and I like him a lot, and I root for him, and I thought he was going to have this meteoric rise 10 years ago. I mean, you tell me what's up with Spieth. I always root for him. I always pick him. I can't.
As you say, he's my guy. He's my guy. And I have lived and died with this guy. And you mentioned 2015. It's one of the great historic seasons that we've seen in modern major championship golf. The guy went 1-1-4-2. He won the first 2 majors in 2015, finished 4th at the Open Championship, and that was one shot out of a playoff. And then he finished second at the PGA. He won the Open Championship in 2017. He's coming off of wrist surgery. I was out there watching him at him today. After 5 holes, I was exhausted. He is a cat on a hot tin roof. It is like being on a roller coaster on Ritalin and Adderall and mushrooms. It is exhausting to follow him because he will make an eagle and then he'll make a string of bogeys and then he'll hole out from a bunker. Again, I'll sign up tomorrow to do it again, and then at the end of the day, I'll want to quit him.
Roller coaster, Ritalin, Adderall, mushrooms. Justin Spieth. Well done, Gary. Well done. I appreciate the time as always, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Great to see you as always.
Watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Let me ask you a serious question. You want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings Sportsbooks, giving you the insight into where the sharp action is landing. Circa is known for taking big bets from professional bettors, while DraftKings provides a broader market perspective. That means you're getting the real action, not just public money, but the kinds of wagers that move the line. See the percentage of bets versus the percentage of handle on every single game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN Summer Special right now for only $59 until August the 1st at VSiN.com/subscribe. Welcome back, Make It Rain with Adam Schein, as we continue to keep you up to date on everything going on at the Masters. And that spot with Gary Williams was absolutely positively tremendous. Excellent, excellent stuff. And again, we're feeling great about our Corey Connors bet. And, right now he is at -4. He is done for the day. And whenever you are tied with Scotty Scheffler, that's a good place to be. Scotty's done, and he's tied with our guy Coco. They are both at -4 for the day, both in the clubhouse. And Justin Rose, every rose has its thorn. Brett Michaels was ahead of the curve. Right now through 12, he's 6 under, playing unbelievably dominant and well. And this has been impressive to watch. Jason Day is through 18, and he is at 2 under. Rory, of course, the monster story, and, want to see if Rory can get that elusive green jacket. And right now he's at 2 under through 8 today. 2 under through 8 today. So we will continue to keep you up to date, but obviously some of our best bets, and our picks, and where the brain is at, and obviously that is a big deal here in terms of the updates from Augusta. And that was good information with Gary Williams in terms of how tough it is to come back. Morikawa, who I picked to win, his first 12 holes, really on fire today. But the way he played down the stretch was supremely unfortunate if you are a Morikawa believer and better like I was before the Masters started. So we will keep you up to date on everything going on in Augusta. How about, and obviously we started the show with Luka Doncic and his return to Dallas and the emotions and the big Lakers win. Listen, if you had the San Antonio Spurs money line, I'm going to need to see a ticket, because I don't believe you. I don't want to say you're lying, but you're lying. Plus 950 Spurs on the money line? My goodness. Look at that money line for Golden State. And I told you last night I would never have touched this. Even the 17.5 made me a little nervous. But, I was thinking maybe, it might be a late cover and, the Warriors start resting their starters. Instead, game tied at 111, and bam, former Warrior Harrison Barnes able to win the game. Take a look at the Western Conference standings, and, this was a soul-sucking and crushing loss for Golden State. We could talk about Minnesota not playing with their food correctly and, losing that game to Milwaukee the other night when they had a 99.9% chance of winning. Look at what that loss does, right? Even look at the Vegas odds, right? And compare and contrast it. Warriors right now are in the play-in. They have the 3rd best odds, according to Vegas, to win the West. They're going to need to win and need help in order to make the playoffs and to lock themselves in. And by the way, obviously this team has gobs of experience, talking about not only just who you expect in Golden State with Kerr and Curry and Draymond, but Jimmy Butler. And he's on his best behavior, and he's one of the most prolific playoff performers that we've seen in the last 20 years. Golden State, even with plus 600 third best odds, down to the 7 line. That's no good. And, could they beat Houston in a series? Yeah, sure, absolutely. If they were lost in the play-in and then won in the second play-in game and had to face OKC, they'd be one and done. They'd be bounced. I don't even know if I would pick them, honestly, going up against the Houston Rockets. I probably would, but I was so disappointed in Golden State. So disappointed. I know a lot of people, including our friend Z-Train, very into the Warriors for the postseason. But that was a rough one. How about the Nuggets winning their first game post-Malone? You could say that at the end of the day, the Nuggets post-Malone had the Kings going in circles. I'm very proud of myself. as a Post Malone fan. If you know, you know. We told you that the Nuggets were the lock of the night, and we had them as the best bet, and G-Bank was very pleased with us, and you're welcome, and we got all your tweets, and we also told you to bet Jokic with a triple-double. By the way, 33rd triple-double? Like, that's kind of a big deal. Don't just let that just hang on your ears. Like, absorb that for a second. 33rd triple-double of the year. SGA is my MVP. He'll win the MVP. Jokic is unreal. By the way, he did not want to talk about Mike Malone's firing post-game. He said, I found out right before the story broke. The owner, Josh Kroenke, told me what was going on. It wasn't a discussion. He'll keep everything private. And that's all she wrote. Listen, it was shock and awe when obviously Mike Malone got fired, but you know, I do think there's a shot. This will at least give the Nuggets their best chance to be successful here this postseason. Clippers beat the Rockets. Houston didn't play anyone. I have no problem with that. Clippers are playing great ball. And look, I know, again, backdrop of Houston not bringing anyone to the game, but the Clippers have a great home court. If the Clippers can find a way to get that 4 seed, that's a big deal. They have a tremendous home court advantage. James Harden, who's a terrible historic postseason player. He was great. Kawhi, listen, say what you want about him, and I've probably said it. He's also a tremendous all-time playoff performer. Look what he did in the Spurs. Look what he did in Toronto. He looked great last night. Love Ty Lue. I think he's a brilliant coach. So with all that said as a backdrop, take a look at the standings here when it comes to the Wild West. And this is going to be so fun. I mean, we've got 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday left in the regular season. So much up for grabs here when you look at it. So many games that matter down the stretch. And this is ridiculously impressive. And, you know, it's going to be crazy. That Golden State loss, I mean, puts them behind the 8 ball, and now they're going to need to handle business, and they're going to need some help as well. You know, tonight we have the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies, and that's Minnesota favored by 2.5 points. I do love Minnesota to win. I think they bounce back from the debacle of what transpired against Milwaukee. I want Minnesota to win. I don't like this Grizzlies team at all, but that is the one game tonight in terms of the congested, jumbled mess you keep your eye on. You see it, I got it at 2.5. Listen, someone who's betting Minnesota would like it at 2, but you know, we'll take that. How about some love for the Toronto Blue Jays? Beat the Boston Red Sox again. And there's a 4:10 game coming up right after our show. By the way, the Blue Jays are humming to start the season. Gossman was great last night. And Berrios earlier in the week against Boston. I told you to take the over on the Blue Jays, and I hope you did. Diamondbacks shut out the Orioles last night, and Baltimore's 5-8 to start the season, and I think that they are going nowhere. And, you know, you look at the American League East and the American League East odds board, and you take a look at, you know, the Yankees, obviously, and, you know, factor in, you know, the Devin Williams situation. I still think that the Red Sox can end up winning the division, but you look at the Blue Jays, I'm telling you, the Blue Jays are interesting. The Blue Jays always have talents. Always have talent. If they could ever get it together, that would be a big deal here when you look at it for this team. And let's finish up with some hockey. Oilers beat the Blues. Connor to Connor, McDavid to Brown for the game winner. Oilers beating St. Louis, that's a big story. And, you know, they still need to get fully healthy, but I think the Oilers can take care of business this postseason. I have the Oilers beating Toronto in the Stanley Cup Finals. How about the Leafs beating the Lightning last night? I'm telling you, don't sleep on Toronto here come playoff time. Best bet brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VSiN. G-Bank up in the ante with a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. First, for new customers, spend $1,000. Eligible purchases within 90 days. You get a $250 bonus. You can apply now at VSiN.com/GBank, VSiN.com/GBank, subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. Let's go with some more day ball right after us. So some time to get this one in. I love it. Devers is great going up against the Blue Jays and going up against the specific pitcher they're throwing. Over 1.5 hits, runs, RBI, -120. I can't wait. Right after us, it's Mitch and Paulie. That is going to be a show. You know, I'm obsessed with Follow the Money. Thanks to all the guys in Vegas. Thanks to the great Michael Cohen. We'll talk to you mañana. Make it rain with Adam Schein.